Alrighty. So first, I just want to start off by welcoming everyone to this month at ActivePipe. Today, we are going to talk about how to win more listings with ActivePipe. If you have not been to one of these webinars before, I'd like to take a second just to introduce myself. I am Taylor Ritchie. I'm over here on the customer success team at ActivePipe. And I just want to thank you again for taking the time to join. So first, just want to make sure that we are covering 4 methods that you can utilize within ActivePipe to win more listings. So we'll start on a broader scale, speaking to utilizing market insights, sold property lists, home validation requests, and educational driven content. We'll follow this by 2 examples of real clients and what they are doing to utilize these. And then lastly, we'll walk through how to begin creating yours. So starting on a larger scale, something that we're all feeling right now and we all know is that it is quite the seller's market. And it's been like that for some time. So across the US right now, there seems to be a common thing we keep hearing. There's a lack of inventory. While many suburban areas have seen an influx of buyers since the COVID-19 pandemic began, the amount of sellers have not had proportional in many cases. Homeowners are also holding on to their properties for longer than we've seen in the past. As of 2018, the median duration of home ownership in the US was around 13 years. And that is an increase of 3 years since the 2008 recession, which all signs point to this trend continuing. So the question I want to present today is, how do we unstick the homeowners? So to begin, we have to move beyond the old epigram of knowledge is power. When it comes to unsticking the homeowner, sharing knowledge is power. This is what we are really trying to drive home here. The best thing you can do as an agent is to share the knowledge that you know about the market that they might not yet understand or know. It's the seller's market. By empowering your contacts with this knowledge, you can inspire potential sellers to sell. So with ActivePipe, several ways that I briefly covered in the beginning of how to share this knowledge to potential sellers that you have in your book. For today, we're going to focus on the 4 methods we've seen success with, which are market insights, sold property list, home valuation requests, and educational driven content. So let's go ahead and look at the first client that I wanted to show today. The first thing that we're going to look at is Marketplace at Sotheby's and the real estate market content that they are sending out to potential sellers in their book of business. Now, with this particular email, it does go in deep depth. They have 5 different charts that they're showing within this. Honestly, this is more than you even have to do. I think it's a great example because it can show you a little bit more detail as to how to get into that. So let's go in. Sorry about that. Alrighty. So here we have our first email with Market Insights. As you can see, they dropped a header with a nice little photograph on it. They have a personalized message that they're sending. And then we get down here to the insights. So the insights that they're sharing with us are the median days on the market. And this is across 2 different years. So this is 2020 versus 2021. So as we can see, there's a huge dip in how many days that it's sitting on the market, which is good for sellers to know because they want, the process to be quick and seamless. We also have the average percentage of list prices here, which is also good information to share with potential sellers. How many homes are for sale on the market? And how many months supply of inventory? And then the last one is showings per listing. So what you can demonstrate with your context, what is happening to their local area with easy quantifiable fast facts. What is the average sold to list price ratio? This is information that they don't really have in their back pockets. They're not reading Real Estate Daily like you and I are. So this is all new information for them that could help push them to sell. All of these questions and more can be answered with the Market Insights tool. We compile data and turn it into simple, easy to understand with these compelling graphs. Already doing your own research is great, but sharing that knowledge, like we spoke about, is really what's important. The goal here is to help your contacts understand that you're not just saying it's a seller's market, but rather you have the financial analysis to back that up with. So this is the first example of just the market insights that we have. I also want to show an example of a just sold report. So this example is from our client, the group, a real life client that we currently have. What they're sending out is a sold report on a monthly basis. So how they're utilizing ActivePipe to send out these monthly emails on sold listings is by using our property toggle, which I will show you how we can utilize this when we get into the steps of creating your own. So this is just a quick email that they have set up in a drip campaign, which we'll also cover, that is going out on a monthly basis. All of the sold listings are going to change based off of what is active or sold in your MLS that you have connected with ActivePipe. So this is a really good opportunity for you to share just how the properties are moving throughout. You can also add more details for listing price as how much it was actually sold for, so that you could demonstrate how much over the price that you're selling for at this time. I'm just going to pop into Q&A. It looks like I have a couple of questions here. So market update data, is this for the general US market? We would be interested to have tailored data only for certain areas. Is that something we can provide? Yes, that is something that we can provide, and I'll make sure to touch on that when we get into the example portion of the webinar. So, though many folks are only sending out new listing updates and forgetting to consider their sold reports are likewise more useful for a seller's market. So with just a few clicks on the property toggle, you have the opportunity to automatically bring these properties into the flow and set up filter criteria to choose and include sold properties in X amount of days, as well as using Smart Match. So now that we've covered these two examples, I did want to transition into creating our own email. So we will up over here. And just to start off, I do want to know I've already created a couple of templates here to go through, but something that you should always do in the beginning of creating a new email or creating a new campaign is pop over and look through your templates and shared emails. This is going to give you a good basis to start off of, so you're not working with a blank canvas. This could be helpful just for visuals, as well as bringing in that content on a quicker basis rather than starting from scratch. So the first template we'll start off with is the target seller's data. And this is market data that you could send out, like the first example that we covered, in order to share that information that may not be as readily available to your customers. So as you can see, we dropped in a header here at first, just the drag and drop like you typically do when you're creating an email. And then we've also created just a little bit of content here as a quick message before we get into what we're showing. These are words that my team and I have written ourselves. If you want to utilize this in your email, please feel free to. You can use these words. They are not another customer's. They are ActivePipe's own. So it could be helpful for you to get started right here. Before we move down to the median, to the market data that we have down here, I wanted to point out this box that we have added. So say that you wanted to give access to customers to readily availably email you directly to request information or to request to see a house or request anything that will go directly to your email. How we add this little toggle in is through this button right here. And you have a lot of different options when you're going to add this in. So we'll click in. As you can see, you have the ability to add your text, which is going to be the actual text that is shown on the button that they will be clicking on. In this case, we're talking about emailing directly to you as an agent. So we're going to choose email address. For the email address, you'll always want to click mail to and colon, and then you can type in your email address. This is going to go directly to you and allow you to receive emails directly from this button. So if you were to click onto this, you would see that we have the email address set in here. So moving on to the market data, this is all data that we utilize a partner to pull from. And this partner is generating data for you to sell that you can Can you all hear me? All right. I'm just going to keep chugging and hope that everyone is still able to hear me. So for this market data, this is going to be where you can utilize some property details or some area details to generate the exact data that you are looking to share. So how you get to that is you will pop up here to the settings bar. And these are options for all of your styles. So if you wanted to change any color settings, you can do that in here. You can change the padding, how wide it is around it, as well as what the image insert looks like. In order to generate an area for this data to pull from, as usual, we're going to click into this blue option right here on the bottom right-hand corner. So as you see here, we have some options to click different data sets. For this particular situation, we're going to do sold versus list price. And we can choose that market area. I think that was a question that was brought up earlier. So this is where you would be able to choose which market area you're looking to pull from. You also have the option to choose a date range. So we'll just do 6 months for this example. And something else to note down here is you have the opportunity to choose a bar graph, which is like in the example that I showed, or you can do a line graph. You also have some options for stylistic changes over here on the style tab. Change some colors, say that we wanted to make it red. We can do that, and then we can click continue, and it's going to generate some information for us. So this bar graph is nice and clean. It gives the potential sellers a good idea of what's going on in their particular area. As you can see down here, we also have some more data that we have drug in from our Insights tab. What this is pulled from is the market data insights that we are pulling from the top graph. You have the opportunity to choose these data sets as well. I'll click in here so you can see some other options that we have. We're going to keep it as list versus sold price. And down here, you also see you have that market area option again as well. And you can do this for both of the data sets. And this is just the drag and drop from the insights. Just one more time. You just pop that in and it would bring right up. Something I do want to point out while we're right here, if you wanted to reorganize any of these text boxes, you can use these up and down arrows to do so that you can make it in the organization that you see as fit. Let me get rid of that for now. So scrolling down here, they have also chosen to, I've also chosen to pull in some properties. So what we're going to do with the property, as you can see, I pulled in this property list right here. We're going to generate some sold properties that can be sent out on a monthly basis by using this toggle right here. So what the toggle feed does is you're going to be able to define your properties into the parameters that you want to show, and these will update on an automatic basis depending on how you have it set up on the back end. So how you're going to define those properties is you're going to click on this handy dandy define properties right here. And it'll give you some options to get a little bit more advanced with what we're going to be showing. So for this, we want to make sure that we're showing sold houses so that they can see. You also have the opportunity to change the listing type. For this, we're not going to mess around with that toggle. And then we also want to pull in some sold. And for this example, we're going to do 30 days because we want to create a monthly email. You can click update. And it looks like my demo account is not wanting to cooperate today, so I do apologize. Do note that you probably will not have an issue with doing this. It's just some back-end updating that we need to do, so I do apologize on that. But this is a good opportunity to show you if you didn't want to use that property toggle and you would rather just choose a listing that you know has sold, what you can do is you can click on this blue house in the bottom right-hand corner, and you can search for that property. So we're just gonna click a couple, and you'll also see over here on the right-hand side, as you know, all of this information is editable. Let's see, make sure that we're going to sold. I messed up on this one. So something I want to mention, if you're pulling from these, make sure that you're choosing the correct status of the property so that it will give you the correct information in this email. All right. So as you can see, something that I've pulled into the bottom here is the sold price. I think that this is super valuable, having that most properties are going 30+% over the listing price at the time. So how we can get this property detail in here is by navigating over to this settings wheel, come over to property details, and you can see that sold price has been added in here. Something else that I think could be valuable is to add the listing price, just to show the difference of what that was looking like for the property itself. So we're gonna go click on price, and then we need to click this blue button to add it. And then we'll go ahead and click continue. So in this case, it was sold for the same price that it was listed, probably something that you all have not seen in quite some time. But this is a good way to demonstrate how your listings are listed for a price and then sold. moving on down to the bottom portion of our email, something else that is always just really good to share with these market insights is some elements of educational content, as we spoke of. So this is just some content that we brought in from our smart media over here. And we can choose which blogs that we want to go by clicking on this orange toggle on the bottom right-hand corner. So as you can see, we have a lot of blogs that we have over here. You can also enter a feed or a URL from a blog that you want to share. So if you wrote a blog or you have a fellow agent that has written a blog that they're comfortable with you sharing, you could just copy that URL and post it into here, and it would generate into the email. So this is one good example of how you can share content with your customers and potential sellers on some market insights. I'm going to stop really quick and read the chat. It looks like we have a couple of questions. So a couple questions here. Does the request a private showing go directly to the agent sending the newsletter or the listing agent? That is going to depend on whose email that you're utilizing in this requesting a personalized valuation. So you can choose to have it go directly to the agent sending the newsletter, or you can have it go to the listing agent. So another question, just around sharing, these emails on Facebook or any other social media. I will show you how to do this. This has to be done after a campaign or after an email is sent. So before we show that, I do want to go into how you can create a campaign with this market data in order to constantly send these out without having to lift a finger, essentially. That's what our goal is to automate that. If you're not on ActivePipe Auto, then this is something that we can work with outside of this time. But for Auto, you have the opportunity to really utilize these campaigns so that once you get it situated, you won't have to do much after that. So we'll go into campaigns. And what we'll want to show here is how you can create a new campaign of a market insights and sold listing. So to start, we're going to go into create campaign. And I'm just going to name this test for the sake of today. Something else to note here, the campaign name is not going to be seen by your customers. It is only the subject line from the email that's going to be showing. So once we get into this campaign, we're going to make sure that we're sending it to the correct group of people. In this case, we're wanting to send to our sellers. So if you have tags set up or utilizing tags, it's a great opportunity for you to quickly just pop in those potential sellers. You could also send this to folks that maybe had been thinking about selling in the past, but weren't quite sure. This is great information to share with them to get them excited about selling theirs. So once we get our contacts in, we're going to add a new module. So what we want to do is we want to schedule this to go out. We're going to do 9 a.m. and we're going to send this on Fridays. Make sure that we are repeating this schedule on a monthly basis, since we're going to do a monthly newsletter. And then once we have that date scheduled, we're going to add in the actual email. So on Friday at 9 a.m., we want to send an email. Once you have this module set in, we're going to select our email that we just created. You can also create an email from this page if you wanted to. I always recommend to just create it in your emails toggle. That way you can utilize it for more than one thing, or utilize it as a duplicate in order to save that template for yourself. So we're going to pop in this target seller's market data. And then we have some options to do some more. So after we send that email, we want to delay for a second email to go out with some triggers that we're going to utilize if a customer is to click into this email. So for this example, we will delay the second email that we're going to send out for 1 week if they clicked a link. So for clicking a link, in this example, if they went into the email that we just created and they clicked on any of the market insights links, if they clicked on the request a value link, we'll get a notification for that as well. Or if they click into one of the blog posts, we'll also be included into this next drip email that we're going to send. So for the second email, we're going to send a seller's template. And with these triggers for links, you have the option to be even more specific than just clicking any link. We can utilize this to click specific links. If they looked at, 6 times, it's actually smarter to buy a home, we want to send this email. For this particular example, we're going to choose any. And you can build this out as much as you would like to. So you can continue to add emails, and you can continue to add different triggers that you want it to be sent out to each of the customers that have clicked on the link. So this is a really great way to automate any market data insights that you are sharing with your customers in order to encourage them to sell. So we're going to go ahead and save this. And we're going to go back into campaigns. And I'm going to show you how you can share this email with any social media link. So you'll come into the actual email, click on View Report, where you'll see this opportunity to see all of the interactions with the email itself. For this one, it takes a little while to load, but if you wanted to share this email link, you would click right here next to where it says newsletter, click view email, and right here, you're going to get a link that is shareable to social media. We are currently working on something to make this a little bit easier, but at this point in time, this is the way that you would be able to share an email from a past email that you sent. So I'll walk you through that one more time just to make sure that we have it down. You would click onto a finished email. Just remember, it has to be finished. You will click into View Report. And once this loads, we'll click right here on View Email. And this is the link that you can grab. Alrighty. So that is the basics of what I wanted to cover today as how you can utilize ActivePipe in order to win more listings. I do want to take a couple of minutes for Q&A. If you do have questions surrounding around what we covered today, or maybe something that I missed that you think could be valuable, please feel free to pop that into the chat or Q&A now, and I will start reading through those and reviewing them. Let's see. Go ahead and make sure that I covered all of these first. It looks like I skipped over a question regarding the recording, but yes, we will be able to get this out to you after. It looks like, Jean, you asked about creating new templates. Creating new templates are going to be done on the administrative levels. So we have to create templates on our end from the back end, and that comes from a request from the admin within ActivePipe. Also looks like we wanted a review of how to click the blog sources. Not quite sure if I fully understand the context of that question. If you could reword that, Scout, that would be helpful. If not, then I can circle back around with more information on how to click into the blog sources. For now, we will go, let's see, looks like I have my wrong one up. Here we go. So if you wanted to pull in a blog, pull in social, and then links. It's not going to let me do it on this demo account, so I will follow up with you all on that portion. Looks like Oscar update how to update the home's information in ActivePipe. This is going to be done through either the property toggle that I will show when I get to the top of this. So you have the option to use our property toggle, which is going to pull from our smart feed. And then you would click into the gear right here, and you have the options to choose property details, so what's going to be shown. If you want to choose change the actual properties themselves that are showing, you'll want to click into define properties, where you'll have the ability to set standards and basis of what you want to show. As you can see, it gets pretty detailed in here. So you also have the ability to only include agents listings, which we see being utilized quite frequently, more so than in the past. Let's see. Alrighty. It looks up, one more came in. Let's see. Perfect. Alrighty. I think we covered everything today. So at the end of the day, ActivePipe is a super powerful tool that you have complete control over to utilize to try to win more listings, which is super important in the industry right now, having it is the seller's market. Remember that sharing knowledge is power, and you can use these 4 methods to do so, just so that you can unstick that potential seller in no time. Awesome. Thanks everyone for taking the time today to spend with me and learn how to win more listings with ActivePipe. Just a reminder, we do these on a weekly basis, and we would love for you to join so that we can help you use ActivePipe as a very powerful tool. I hope you all have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we will talk soon.